Well, good morning, YouTube. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. Gonna go hiking at Taylorsville MetroPark on the east side of the dam. And of course, I showed this park numerous times throughout the years, so don't know how many videos I'll do, but here we pick up the connector trail. This is the best area of the park to hike because it is a little bit hilly, but not too bad. This is the connector trail. Of course, that's where I'm at right there, and we head north through the yellow and through the orange loop. This is just a gorgeous day to be in the woods. I mean, you could not ask for any better weather today on this Sunday morning. And during the lockdown, you know, the parks had their bathrooms and shelters were closed, although you could still get into the shelters because there was no barricades. But I was hearing a lot of reports of the trash at the parks was getting really bad. And well, I guess if they were, the trash cans at some of the parks are still available to use, but if you're taking away the bathrooms, yeah, you're gonna have problems because people are gonna use the bathroom on the side of the trail. So it's just common sense to expect that problem. We've had a pretty rainy spring, so it hasn't rained here for a couple of days, so the trail should be in really good shape. There's only one part of the trail on this side of the park that would flood. Well, actually, there's two that would flood, but that's not going to be an issue today, obviously. As soon as we get off the connector here, which is going to be in a few minutes, this will join the yellow trail. And I will be heading, and I'm going to take the eastern side of the trail all the way of the eastern side of the yellow and the orange. The orange trail on the east side of the park, that's where you got all your weave and all your in and out, you know, it slanted cuts into the trail. That side takes a little bit longer, so I like to do that side of the trail first. It takes about 40 minutes to an hour. The orange trail is only like 3.3 miles or something. I mean, I spent a lot of time in my youth in this area, so I'm very familiar with this park, and I still have came here throughout the years to hike. Trail, it definitely needs to be, I would say, trimmed back a little bit, but you're still able to get through it. But some of the plants in that are definitely encroaching onto the trail. He's probably just finishing up his hike or his jog, I can only assume. He's parked at the trailhead where I started at. There's a few different starting points. The CCC shelter, or the Civilian Conservation Corps shelter. Then you got another parking lot up the street. From there, the Dayton hikers do meetups quite frequently at this park. Generally, they use the CCC shelter or the parking lot that I started at, but the parking lot I started at is better for night hikes because there's no gate, versus if you park at the CCC shelter and it's 8 o'clock, and if there's cars there, the rangers have to obviously wait to lock up the gate at the park. Just an absolute beautiful day overlooking the Great Miami River down below. It's kind of harder to see it from here up top through the video, but it's all right. Yeah, we're coming to the end of the connector here very soon. It's only like 4/10 of a mile, I think. It's a gorgeous day to be out here. Tree down in the trail, but you could get around it. It's a big tree that fell, and they should have cleaned that up, but for some reason the MetroParks is not the best when it comes to cleaning up down trees. Here's the yellow trail starting point at marker number 8. Bench right there. That traffic you're hearing is from US 40, which is right next to the Well, the park is right along US 40. So if you like a park that's more quiet, that does not like, and if you don't like a lot of noise, this really isn't the park for you. But we're not out in the country enough to avoid that, because here at this park you do have noise from the road nearby. You have the trains, which are only about 3 or 4 football fields from this trail, or 300 or 400 yards. They pass through here. Then you got the airport, you know, not far from here, but that stuff doesn't bother me any. Sounds like a woodpecker maybe pecking on a tree. You hear the sound of the tree moving. This area is really stunning in the fall, especially when the maples get those golden yellow leaves. That's my favorite time to be in the forest in Ohio. Just those beautiful fall colors, but especially from the sugar maple trees with their, you know, golden yellow leaves are just super pretty. And of course we do have quite a large selection of sugar maple trees here, and of course, well, no, that's not a sugar maple, but we got them everywhere in this park though. It's a different species than a maple. Yeah, trail's getting tore up right through there, probably because of all the rain that we've had the last 2 months. Hi.
Morning.
Morning. Nice to see families out here, and why not? It's a beautiful Sunday morning to be in the woods. I mean, if you can't be out here enjoying this weather in the woods, then I don't know what you could enjoy. because this is almost like an October day. I think it's in the mid to late 50s. The temperatures are only supposed to get up to about 68, 69, 70 degrees today. There's something special about every time of the year in the forest. I mean, although I like fall the best, but I think most people do spring is beautiful. Winter, you get to see the forest without the leaves of the tree canopy. You could see a lot farther into the woods than what you can like right now. And this trail right here is pretty safe. There's a couple rocky areas, but it's not too bad. It's not anything that I would consider unsafe for a child at the rock outcrop or the rock steps. Now Clifton Gorge, that's another thing. It's a beautiful area in Yellow Springs, Clifton, but I've heard numerous people say that they don't feel comfortable taking their kids to that part of the area because of the rocks, or people that have mobility issues probably should not go out there. But really no such issues with this trail at this park. Of course, you know, I'm still in good shape. I'm still fairly young, so I don't mind a trail that's a little bit more on the dicey side like Clifton Gorge. But as I said, you don't want to, I really wouldn't want to take kids there till they're at least 13 or 14, 15 years old. Because if they're not well trained in the outdoors from a young age, they could easily get hurt there. And of course, that's not what any of us want. So, yeah. So if you have young kids, you know, this is a good trail to start them on. Because there's a little bit of hills back here. The terrain is pretty safe. And it's a pretty safe park to hike. It's about a 5.3 miles you could get for a hike here. This is what I would consider more of a weekday hike than a weekend hike. Family out. Hi.
We came down this way, and we came up this way.